this. I'm changing the. One of these days, I'm going to do this right. I'm changing the. I'm changing the way that the sound works on here. I did it, I think. I'm going to request if people can tell me whether they can hear me or not. I don't know who's in there. I do see Meep in the chat. Thank you so much for coming. I love the dancing Mario gif. And the guy, you can hear me. That's fantastic. Please let me know if the levels must be adjusted. I'm always open for level adjusting one way or the other, whatever is necessary. So thank you. It's a stream. I'm looking off to the side, and I can't quite figure out why that is. I'm looking here, but it's making me look up here. If I look here, am I looking at the camera? This is a new computer. Remember, I got this new computer, so I'm going to move this a little bit closer to my face, and I'm doing this, and I guess I'll just talk to the camera. I don't know. It's a little strange. Anyway, this is not how I had intended to start the show, but here's how we are starting the show. Happy Wednesday, folks. Happy Wednesday to anyone and everyone who's joining, who's checking in. It is a world of cognitive dissonance, but we're going to just power on through some of that. Cut off from the bottom, a couple of hands cheering. No, you don't. Meep points out I think there might be something cut off on the bottom. I see a couple of hands cheering. Well, you know what? How about this? Before I get into the cognitive dissonance aspect of life, Catface Faces is saying, "Yo, where are all the beef jerky boys at?" That's right. This is a beef jerky positive zone. Catface Faces, I think, is gearing up to slander me yet again, as has happened in previous episodes. I will not stand for it, but that is what's going on. And yes, you're right. There is a gray box on the right. We'll ignore the gray box on the right for now. But what we will do is say hello to somebody very special. Now, Meep has pointed out that it appears that there's something going on here on the screen. And normally, before I do a show, if I'm going to have a guest on, I like to, alert folks so that they can come in, they can get ready, they can settle in. But today's guest is very special. And I'm extremely proud to present on his 59th birthday. Today, February the 12th, on his 59th birthday, my good friend, and our good friend, Blanka. Oh, there he is. Blanka from Street Fighter 2. He's here. Welcome, Blanka. It's so good to see you. Don't look a day over 20. So that's fantastic. Blanka's here. Blanka is raging, and what Blanka is excited about, I'm going to move Blanka over here so it kind of looks like I'm looking at him. Blanka is very excited about he's going to do a power hour. While we read, he's going to do a power hour, and we're going to try to check in with him at the end to sort of see how things are going. This is what constitutes entertainment on my stream, so please bear with me. Blanka, thank you so much for coming. Here, Blanka, you're kind of looking away from me. Maybe you could turn around. That'd be helpful. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate that. Happy 59th birthday. Amazing hair for 59. You're right. Not a gray strand in sight. Certainly has had no muscle atrophy, which is fantastic. And it's looking just as electric as ever. I don't have a gif of him doing his electric thing, but just imagine I did. That's what we would be doing. So thank you to Blanka. Thank you so much for the 59th birthday. And I'm going to get the show on the road here because today I actually have a hard stop. I've got to go do some support for my parents after this, so I've got to go remote for a little bit and all that. On that front, just wanted to quickly call out. I'm going to move Blanka out of the way for a quick second here, not to become a downer, but I will say the Republicans in Congress have shown what they want to vote on coming up soon. Massive cuts to SNAP benefits for folks who need it, and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of cuts to Medicaid. As somebody with an elderly parent who relies on at least some, although albeit insufficient, government support for their health things, I want to just note right here that the congressional Republicans, potentially every elected Republican, and maybe even just every Republican, not to get too, I don't know where Blanka stands on the issues. I'm going to just assume good things. I don't know if he's hopefully he's not a Bolsonaro guy down in Brazil. But I just want to say, I am, I am real mad at the Republicans. If anybody here thinks that what they are doing is even remotely above board at any step of the way here, you can go get a. You can go get your electric shock from Blanka. You can pat him on the shoulder and get electrocuted. That's what I think can happen. So anyway, at the risk of getting too mad, anyway, it's personal. It's all personal. All this stuff impacts all of us. So anyway, I'm just gonna call it right there. Do not let them cut critical resources for people who need it. That is all of us. And the more that they cut, the more emboldened they're going to feel to cut even more. Just today, it looks like the White House and Musk probably took about $80 million straight out of a bank account in New York City for FEMA funding. So let's keep pushing these people. They have been responding at least a little bit to court orders. So let's keep pushing. And thank you to the lawyers. I never thought I'd say that. Thank you to the lawyers for pushing back on some of this stuff. Otherwise, it can feel a little bit powerless. I'm going to take one more moment to do something that probably isn't fun, and I promise this will be quick. Please feel free to roll your eyes. I'm not trying to be a hot gas bag here about this stuff. But one thing that I wanted to note is, as people have seen probably online, the NSA, other government agencies are denying the existence of certain words. They're using it to get people in trouble. They're using it to deny grants, using it, and they have kind of a series of words that they don't want people using. So I just wanted to quickly read a list of the words. These are, I believe, the 27 words that the NSA has highlighted as words that have to go, and that everything involving them has to go. We're just going to read them here. You can't see them all on the screen right now, but let's just do this real quick. These are words that we should all be saying and concepts we should all be fighting for even harder than ever before, because being against the bad stuff is one thing, and actively fighting it requires us all, I think, to be vocal about this stuff. So they want to ban the phrases anti-racism, racism, allyship, bias, DEI, diversity, diverse, confirmation bias, equity, equitableness, feminism, gender, gender identity, inclusion, inclusive, all inclusive. So no all inclusive resorts if you want a grant from the dumbest people alive in the federal government. Inclusivity, injustice, so no DC themed fighting games, among other things. Intersectionality, prejudice, privilege, racial identity, sexuality. You're not going to be able to see these. You're also not allowed to say stereotypes. You're not allowed to say pronouns. You're not allowed to say transgender, and you're not allowed to say equality. So if y'all are with me on this, let's all commit to saying these things as much as possible, affirming the importance of recognizing that all of these things exist, and getting in front of anybody who tries to deny the existence of any of these things, who tries to deny trans people personhood, who try to get in the way of an equitable, fair society for people. So let's do these words. And if anybody tells you that you shouldn't do these words, you can tell them to go fuck themselves. So that's what I think today. Anyway, let's go and talk about Blanka. Actually, let's just quickly check in on Blanka. How are you feeling about that? Oh my God, Blanka. Blanka's got kind of an accent, but what I think he's saying is, I agree, and that is good. So Blanka is partying. Blanka's gonna go do a power hour to celebrate a near power hour, one shot for every year that Blanka's been alive, 59 years. And let's move ourselves on over to our first manual of the day, Street Fighter II on the Super Nintendo, where Blanka is getting a starring role on the cover, appearing to have murdered Ryu. Happy birthday to Ryu. And seems like he's on the hunt. He's on the hunt for Chun-Li. He was a younger person back then, so he wasn't quite in touch with his rage. Now I presume he's mellowed out, but this is the way that he used to be. So Blanka Blanka needs some warm milk. I think Cafe Space is correct. Blanka needs it, and he's getting a tip top moment. That's right. Blanka's getting a tip top moment for Ryu, which means that he's being put on his back like a turtle, just like Mitch McConnell. Although Mitch McConnell today was the only Republican senator to vote against what's her name? Oh my God, I'm blanking on her name because she sucks so bad in the Senate. Holy moly, I can't remember. You know what? It doesn't. I want to say all those words. I don't need to name these terrible, terrible garbage people. So anyway, but he was the one vote against her on the Republican side. Anyway, we'll just pretend I can remember names and I can remember words, and we'll do that by allowing the manual to put words in front of me that I can say and that I can piggyback off of. So let's do that. You've got E Honda here, Edmund Honda. Cool guy. So this is E Honda. I want to say something. In latter Street Fighter games, in more recent Street Fighter games, they've all become huge roid guys, and I don't think that that's necessarily new. You can see here that E Honda is pretty veiny for a husky fellow. You can see it in his arms. But what he doesn't have is that weird sort of like 8-pack that they've given him in recent years. And I think that we should return. I like it. He looks sort of like a normal person here. I think that we should return to that. No shade against the art that the games exhibit now, but he was just a big boy, but a human big boy. So we love our big boy E Honda. We love to control your fighter. We love all of these sorts of things. We don't need to go through all of these because what we're really here for is the character bios. Now, longtime followers, I guess, longtime people who have been kind enough to watch this stream know that this was a manual that we read a long time ago where I discovered that it was Ryu's birthday. In fact, I believe we might have read it on around 7/21 of 2024 when Ryu was turning 60 years old. So again, a belated happy birthday, Ryu. He is 60 years old right now. Let's read a little bit more about Ryu. He is 5'10". He weighs 150 pounds. I don't think that's true anymore, given the girth that he's got. The girth that he's got. Don't be fooled by the girth that he's got. He's still Ryu from Street Fighter 2. I don't know. I can't do the rest of the song. He's a student of Master Shang Long. Ryu has developed into a pure warrior. He has devoted his entire life to the perfection of his fighting skills and has forsaken everything else in his life. Ryu has no home, no friends, and no family. Instead, he wanders the globe seeking to test his skills against other fighters. Cool and calculating, Ryu is very patient in combat. When Ryu sees weakness, he will move quickly to dispatch his opponents with the awesome power of his Dragon Punch. And then you get to learn a little bit about his special moves. It says by summoning his Fireball, by summoning all of his will and channeling it through his hands. Ryu can create an energy wave or Hadouken. When I do that and I channel all of my energy through my hands, I just end up with a banger blue sky poke. So that's cool. We're basically the same guy. This move drains most of Ryu's energy, and it takes him a few seconds to recover from it. It's also how I feel after I post online. His Dragon Punch, using the ancient word Shoryuken, Ryu can call forth the power of Dragon and channel it through his punch. As he leaps into the air, Ryu and the power of the Dragon Punch are virtually unstoppable. And then you've got his Hurricane Kick, which I'm going to try to say in just a moment. As he spins in the air, Ryu can create a small hurricane by saying Tatsumaki Senpu Kyaku. Tatsumaki Senpu Kyaku. There we go. I'll do it. Using the hurricane to accelerate his spin, Ryu can often knock his opponent down with 3 quick kicks. 3 quick kicks. You're right. This just says the World Warriors. I wonder, so Meep's pointing out the manual is weird, that it is that the cover says Street Fighter 2, but inside it says the World Warriors. I'm wondering if that's because we are on the section of the characters. So maybe it's just a question of the section that we're in right now. So the header is just that we're in the World Warriors, maybe. We got Edmund Honda, who we've seen before here. He was born on November 3rd, 1960. So we got an old fella in our midst here. This is fantastic. A real honest-to-God boomer. He's 6'2" and weighs 304 pounds. He's got a blood type of A. Edmund Honda has been trained since birth to take his place as the greatest sumo wrestler to ever step in the ring. Hard to imagine a 3-month-old doing that, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. Upon receiving the title of Yokozuna, or Grand Champion, Honda was shocked to learn that the rest of the world did not consider sumo wrestling a true sport. Outraged, he has vowed to prove that sumo wrestlers are the greatest fighters in the world. Quick and extremely powerful, Honda's greatest advantage is his size. He loves to pound his opponents into corners and then knock them out with a quick series of punches. Pow, 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 pow. For instance, the 100-hand slap. Through years of training, Honda has been able to build up his speed of his punches. His hands they now move so quickly they're merely a blur. By using the 100-hand slap, Honda can quickly have his opponents seeing stars. And then you've got the sumo headbutt, that famous sumo wrestling move. Using his great leg strength, and the traditional sumo grunt, Honda can propel himself head first into his opponent. Best at short range, Honda's sumo headbutt only inflicts a fair amount of damage. Darren Hupke is here. Street Fighter, that's right, we're talking. Yes, his name was Chuck E. Honda. They had to change it for licensing reasons. But now that you say that, I would have loved to have seen an animatronic E. Honda at Chuck E. Cheese growing up. I think that would have been pretty cool. But we are here for the birthday boy. The birthday boy, Blanka, who was born on this day 59 years ago, not November. It's not November at all. It's February 12th, 1966. He's got a height of 6'5" and 218 pounds, so he's actually rather slender. So we got a slender boy on our hands here. First we had a beefy boy, now we got a slender boy. So good to see you, Blanka. Happy birthday. Again, he's looking real good here. Very little is known about this bizarre fighter from the jungles of Brazil. For years, the natives have reported seeing a half-man, half-beast roaming in the rainforest. It's rude. But it is only in the past year that the beast named Blanka appeared in the cities of Brazil and challenged any fighter who would dare stand against him. Attacking like an uncaged animal, Blanka uses his speed and agility to inflict maximum damage on his opponents. He's got electricity, using a technique he learned from electric eels. Great teachers. Blanka can channel up to 1,000 volts through his skin. Anyone who tries to grab him during this time is in for a shocking discovery. We've also got the rolling attack. Rolling himself into a ball, Blanka can launch himself like a human projectile. Blanka's rolling attack can inflict a huge amount of damage on an opponent, but if Blanka is hit during the attack, he will lose a great deal of strength. So gives and takes. I don't know. So Darren Hupke asks, is 1,000 volts that much? I don't know. Not in this economy. That's right, cat face. Thank you. Not in this economy. It's not. But when we're trading volts for our rations, Blanka is going to be way ahead of us. So I don't know. But I presume it would feel weird to grab somebody who's being electrified in that moment, even if it's just minor. Like if nothing else, you'd be like, this is weird. What's going on? Then it's also Meat points out they don't know much about Blanka, but they have his birthday down pat along with his blood type and his exact height and weight. So aside from knowing absolutely nothing about him, here's literally everything about him. You've got Guile, who is also a boomer, born just before Christmas in 1960. He's 6'1" and 191 pounds. I don't think that's true because that means he's 2 inches taller than me and weighs the same amount as me. I don't think that we are similar in build, and presumably also not similar in politics. I don't know. I'd be curious what Guile thinks of what's happening right now as a military guy. Maybe he can get us out of this trouble. An ex-member, I'm not supporting anything, I'm just saying maybe he can help us. An ex-member of an elite special forces team, because somebody's got to. Guile and his co-pilot, and it's not going to be the Democrats, they're not doing it. So maybe Guile will do this, I guess is what I'm saying. I guess what I'm saying in this episode is that maybe Guile is our only hope. But we're going to get a lot of Guile in the next manual, so I'll hang tight. An ex-member of an elite special forces team, Guile and his co-pilot Charlie were captured during a mission in Thailand 6 years ago. After many months of imprisonment, he and Charlie managed to escape from their jungle prison. During the perilous trek to civilization, Charlie died, and Guile has been consumed by vengeance ever since. Using a unique blend of special forces training and street fighting skills, Guile is a force to be reckoned with. We got his guy is Sonic Boom. kind of just a hug. It's like he does a hug that goes out, which is actually a pretty good move. By whipping, that'd be good to have like with kids. You know, they're leaving, they're running ahead at school. They don't want to get hugged right in front of the class, but you can give them a little sonic boom hug. It travels forward, and they get their hug even if they didn't want one in front of their friends. Kids grow up so fast. Sonic Boom. By whipping his hands and arms through the air, Guile is able to create a burst of energy called the Sonic Boom. This energy burst speeds towards an opponent and momentarily stuns anyone it hits. You got the Flash Kick as well. A little bit of a confusing formatting there. A momentary wall of energy. Oh, sorry. Similar to the Sonic Boom, Guile is also able to cause a momentary wall of energy by whipping his feet into the air. He whips his feet back and forth as he does a backflip. This energy barrier is virtually impenetrable and will do a large amount of damage to those who are foolish enough to walk into it. Excuse me. Yes, Darren Hupke, please. Sonic Boom, hug your kids in the next drop off. That's the next step. That's what we do. We Sonic Boom our kids. They say, no, I don't care. Like, give me the hug 2 blocks away. It's time for Sonic Boom. Ken was born. Oh my God. Ken's born on Friday. Happy almost birthday to Ken. Holy smokes. Who knew? February. What were the parents of the World Warriors doing 9 months earlier? What were they doing in January, February, March, April, May? What were they doing in May? What was happening in May? Springtime, I guess. Springtime, the joys of springtime were leading the World Warriors parents to bring us a new generation of fighters, such as Ken, who was born this Friday in 1965. So he's turning 60. Happy birthday, Ken. He's 5'10" and weighs 169 pounds with a B blood type. The only other disciple of Master Shang Long, Ken is a natural athlete. Unfortunately, Ken's natural fighting skill has fueled his giant ego. It's embarrassing. And he is constantly reminding his opponents that he is the greatest fighter of all time. For the past year, Ken has let his skills deteriorate and has spent most of his time on the beach with his girlfriend. Only a challenge from Ryu has rekindled his fighting spirit. Should have just stuck with the beach. It seems good. Brash and arrogant, Ken loves to show off during a fight. After knocking his opponent senseless with his fireball, Ken loves to stand over his opponents and laugh at them. Ken sounds like a real dick. We got a fireball. This. I'm not going to post this on YouTube, I guess. Not that there's any views. Certainly not like I'm being able to monetize it. But maybe the swearing isn't a good look. I apologize for this. If anybody's watching with their kids, apologies for the swearing. Fireball. By summoning all his will and channeling it through his hands, Ken can create an energy wave or Hadouken. This move drains most of Ken's energy, and it takes him a few seconds to recover from it. I'm not going to read the other two because they look to be word for word the same as Ryu's, fitting for a carbon copy of our special man Ryu. Chun-Li, my character of choice growing up. I like fast fighters. Chun-Li's cool because she can jump off the edges of the stage and then she can do like a little kick on top of them, which is fun to me. She was born on March 1st, 1968. So she's does that make her a Gen X at this point? I don't know if she's Generation X, but she's 5'8". She's unknown, of course. Of course, she would never share her weight. That is important to know in video game manuals. Ladies never share their weight. And blood type A. Unlike who's gathering the blood? Who's gathering their blood? Unlike any of the other contestants, Chun-Li was that a part of they're like, if you're going to be in this fighting tournament, we are going to write a manual about it, and we have to know your blood type. So this is actually a manual compliance thing. Unlike many of the other contestants, Chun-Li has not entered the tournament for personal glory. Good for her. Instead, she has been secretly tracking the movements of an international smuggling operation known as Shadaloo. Or in the Street Fighter movie, the Chun-Li movie, Shadaloo. I like when he says Shadaloo. You should watch that movie. If y'all haven't seen The Legend of Chun-Li, you should watch The Legend of Chun-Li. Get back to me on that. The trail has led her to the tournament, and she now believes that one of the Grand Masters may have been responsible for the death of her father. Stunned by her looks, opponents often underestimate Chun-Li's ability, and they find themselves flattened by a few well-placed kicks. Specifically the lightning kick. Years of training has allowed Chun-Li to develop a series of powerful kicks which strike like lightning. And then the whirlwind kick. Not to be outdone by Ken and Ryu's hurricane kick, Chun-Li uses this move to confuse her opponents. I will say this. It is outdone by Ken and Ryu's Hurricane Kick because the holding down for 2 seconds and then up motion is potentially the worst move in fighting games. So it is outdone. It is a terrible move. Sorry, Chun-Li, you're fantastic. It's not your fault. We've also got Zangief here. I apologize, the chat icon is a little bit in the way. What if I move this to the side a little bit more? There we go. We got Zangief, who was born on June 1st, 1956. He is just 11 years younger than my dad. He's 7 feet tall and weighs 256 pounds. Again, I think a little on the light side for a dude this size, but his blood type is A, and many believe that Zangief entered the tournament out of his fierce respect for his country, but they are only partially correct. Zangief loves his country, but he loves to stomp on his opponents even more. Like, I do think that's kind of a given if you're entering a fighting tournament. What else would you expect from a man who wrestles bears for fun? Totally fearless, Zangief is willing to watch into a punch as long as he can grab his opponent and drive them into the pavement with his spinning pile driver. You've got his special moves. The spinning clothesline, copied from the famous professional wrestler Mike Hagar. Hello, Mike. Zangief uses his spinning clothesline to clobber opponents and to avoid fireballs. Impressive. That means that Mike Hagar's fame was so impressive that it managed to make it all the way from the United States to the USSR. So if a Russian bear fighter during the Cold War is able to become a Mike Hagar super fan, that just says that the cultural exports of the United States had already won the Cold War. So I guess that's just the way it is. You got your spinning pile driver, geopolitics here on Instruction Derby. Spinning pile driver, after seeing the boring pile driver used by professional wrestlers, Mike Hagar, your sucky and stupid spinning pile driver, Zangief decided to add his own twist, so to speak, and grind his opponents into the ground. Then, finally, we've got Dalsim. Dalsim was born 100 million years ago in 1952 on November 22nd, 1952. He's 5'10" and weighs only 107 pounds, but it's important to note that he can change his height and weight to some extent. His blood type is 0. Over the course of his life, Dalsim has sought to unify his mind, body, and soul through the discipline of yoga. Now, as he nears his goal, Dalsim must test himself and his skills before he can rise to a higher state of consciousness. Dalsim's greatest skill is his patience. He knows that he does not stand a chance in a slugging match. Instead, he concentrates on using his unique abilities to keep his enemies at a distance and to slowly wear them down. Yoga Fire, by tapping mystical energies from deep within himself, Dalsim can hurl a ball of flame that incinerates anything it touches. And then the Yoga Flame. Used for close attacks, Dalsim can tap mystical energies to spew forth a cloud of flame. We just call that morning breath, but good to know that Dalsim's not brushing his teeth. Quick call out. I have actually not been looking at the chat here for a little bit. I apologize. Lee Tragan is here. Thank you so much. Lots of good folks in here. Flashback 64. Holy moly. Yes, Darren Hupke, we all need some yoga. There's no question about that. I feel like I could really use it today. Just to let you all know, if you guys are interested, I wanted to call out some things you can buy, presumably right now at MSRP. You got a Street Fighter 2 watch. You got a Street Fighter 2 shirt. I like this long sleeve Street Fighter 2 shirt. You got a Street Fighter 2 volleyball style cap. I didn't know that there was a volleyball style cap. I thought that was just a hat, but you've got a Street Fighter 2 poster, a dramatic 11 by 17 poster featuring all 8 characters. Street Fighter 2 mobile. It's important. It's not Street Fighter 2 mobile, a mobile fighting game. It's the mobile that you put above your baby's crib. Maybe this was the mobile that E. Honda had over his crib when he was learning to become a world famous sumo wrestler. He saw himself on there and he said, I got to do that. Street Fighter 2 combo pack, trading cards. I would like the trading cards. Sticker sheet. The sticker sheet I'd like to put on my arcade machine. That sounds cool. And then a patch, a colorful 2-inch patch featuring the Street Fighter 2 logo. All of these are fantastic and they can all be bought for under $20, with the watch being the most expensive at $20. However, that is in 1993 money, I think. So what does that put us at? $117,000 for the watch. But everything else seems pretty good. If you would like to, just please send some money and 8.25% sales tax to Capcom Street Fighter 2 offer 234 Main Street, Department 184 in Pleasanton, California, 94566. So just over the hill from me. Head on over to Pleasanton, and you will and you can get some stuff. So and then they knew it's the birthday boy today. We get to say adios to this manual by looking at our big boy Blanka one more time. Gonna do a quick water sip break. Gonna come back here for a second. Blanka's still raging. Blanka's still having a good time. How's everybody doing? Everybody doing okay? We good? I'm still on track to get out of here. I'm gonna take another sip of water. That manual made me really tired. Thanks, folks. Blanka loves to party. I'm gonna let him do all the energy right now. I'm gonna take a quick energy break. Weird water. All right. So support is an ordeal, and it is a bummer that I have a hard stop today. But you know what? Maybe in some ways, for me selfishly, given the state of things, it's for the best that I can't just sit here and talk about the state of the world. So maybe this gives me some structure. So yeah, I've just got to do some support. Luckily, at least, it's just I just have to sort of be there to help out with a few things. I still have a bunch of work that I have to do, so I'll be doing that during that time there. And I will say this, very fortunate and privileged to have the ability to have that sort of flexibility from my work to allow me to be able to help to take care of my parents when needed, while also being able to get things done on a schedule that works. So very thankful for that. Yes, it is Waterloo. It is not, however, Blackberry. Good guess. Though you have lost today, unfortunately, as a result. It is Raspberry Nectarine. So better luck next time, Catface Faces. Thank you for the guess. Maybe that's what I'll do if I have another like game giveaway at some point. Maybe it'll just be which weird medicine tasting water am I drinking today. You messed it all up, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. You know what we can do? We can heal these wounds. We can heal the wounds of an incorrect Waterloo guess by reading our next manual. See you in a bit, Blanka. Street Fighter the movie. This one's for the Sega Saturn. Now, I have a real love, an unironic appreciation for Street Fighter the movie, the arcade game, the arcade version. And a big part of that is I love the weird digitized graphics. They're extremely smooth in the arcade version. The arcade version feels like nothing I've played before. And I played it when my family and I were on vacation in Hawaii, in Waikiki. They had it at the hotel arcade in, I want to say, like the Sheraton Waikiki Beach. And I just remember it's one of those games where it's like the smell of the outside and the ocean mixed with the smell of the air conditioning and the electronics from the arcade is this sort of incredibly powerful memory that I have. I also remember that it was the first arcade where $1 only got you 3 tokens. So cheers to Street Fighter the movie, the arcade. Cheers to the Sheraton Waikoloa. So there we go. But this version of the game is a little bit different. That version of the game, as I understand it, was developed by, is it Incredible Systems? An American developer who also did a bunch of other stuff. I want to say even like Golden Tee at some point maybe. But I also think that they did Time Killers, which is not a great game. But they did that. This version on the Saturn and the PlayStation is a slightly different beast. This one, as I understand it, was then taken in and made by Capcom with some of the digitized graphics. Excuse me. And they made it much more in line with Street Fighter 2, one of the Street Fighter 2's ones. So this one is still neat. Doesn't quite hold the same appeal to me as the arcade version does. But, it's still pretty exciting because we get to read about Jean-Claude Van Damme. Finally, movies, and somebody got Tinseltown all in my Sega Saturn. And that's right, we've got the movies at home. Just like being in the theater yourself, you get to put in a movie into your Sega Saturn, which is very exciting. I'm gonna make this ever so slightly smaller so you can see Colonel Guile here. Colonel Guile, of course, being played by Jean-Claude Van Damme, so thank you so much. He of the 2 Volvo truck split commercial. I do own so I will say, I do own a Saturn, and I do own this game. I don't have the box for it, but I do own this game, and I'm trying to see if I can find it around me right now. I can't. It's somewhere here, but I do own this. This is one of like the 3 Saturn games that I do have. And everybody gets really mad at me when I say this is the only Saturn fighting game that I've got. But anyway, why wouldn't you? So let's read a little bit about it. Colonel Guile and his army have fought the Shadaloo organization to a standstill. Following their activities closely, Guile was finally able, after a terrific battle, to destroy their drug connections, capture many of the leaders, and liberate the city. I don't know which city. However, is it Bangkok? I forget. However, the battle is not over yet. Bison has taken his revenge by kidnapping members of Guile's army and is demanding a huge ransom for their safe return. Is Guile a PMC? This is his army. Guile knows that he has only one chance to rescue the hostages and end the Shadaloo menace for good, and that is by destroying Bison himself. The Street Fighter champions are being held shortly. Oh, championships are being held shortly. I haven't had enough raspberry nectarine water. Hold on. The Street Fighter championships are being held shortly. General Bison will be in the contest, and so will Guile. The cast. Jean-Claude Van Damme playing Colonel Guile. Behind his cool exterior lies a body toned by years of martial arts training. With karate as a base, Van Damme has perfected his techniques, bringing him amazing popularity and top billing in many films. Born in Belgium, Jean-Claude Van Damme decided at an early age to hone his sense of movement and power by practicing ballet and karate. He became a European middle-class karate champion at the age of 15 and started his own training gym 3 years later. Moving to Hollywood to try and fulfill a dream of being a Hollywood star, he struggled with the language barrier and the competition to finally gain fame in the film Bloodsport. His filmography: Double Impact, Universal Soldier, Hard Target, and Time Cop. It's a hell of a run. We've got Raul Julia. I have posited on. I'm a big Raul Julia fan. Rest in peace to a legend. I have posited that this game, because you can play at him, should be known as a Raul playing game, but I don't think that's been picked up officially. This actor is best known for his role as the suave, passionate Father Gomez of the Addams Family series. Filmography: The Tempest, The Addams Family, The Family Values, The Addams Family 2. It's not the name of the movie, but that's okay. Addams Family Values. Great movie. Time Cop is cool. Hold on, my computer wants me to reset. I'm going to postpone. Thank you. We got Ming-Na Wen, who plays Chun-Li. Ming-Na Wen is currently enjoying great success as an Asian American actress. Filmography: The Joy Luck Club. And then we got Kylie Minogue. Well known as both a singer and actress, Kylie's success continues. That's it. It continues. Don't ask any questions. It continues. The Delinquents from 1989. She was also Mulan. Ming-Na Wen was. That's right. I want to quickly note Cammy here. I don't think this manual does birthdays, but I discovered in the Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2 manual that Cammy's birthday was, quite unfortunately, January 6th. I don't know what year, but I think it begs the question, where was Cammy on January 6th? So there we go. Well, Cafe's Faces, Cammy was your favorite, but I think Cammy's been canceled now. Now that we know where she was, or we can assume, at least. We can only assume. So I'm not saying for sure that that's where she was, but it's impossible for us to say she wasn't. So, okay, we got Super Combo Gauge. We're not going to talk about any of this. Even though it's good info, it's fantastic. It is a part of manuals, and it is a part of fantastic. But we do get a little bit about these folks. We get the hero of the Allies, Colonel Guile. He says, "I will protect the honor of the Allied forces." Boring. But again, maybe useful. Maybe useful in 2025. I don't know. The ultimate combination of intelligence and power. He uses his street smart, aside from all of us. He is the ultimate combination of intelligence and power. He uses his street smarts to break the opponent's concentration, then attacks with strength and precision. His somersault kick and his overall abilities make him a truly awesome fighter. So, he's got his sonic boom, he's got his somersault kick, pretty neat stuff. We've got Kylie, the British intelligence agent Cammy. I'm going to show you my true strength, she says. For those of you with lightning quick reflexes and razor sharp fighting skills, this acrobatic fighter will be a perfect match. Land in your opponent's face with a spiral arrow and blast him skyward with the cannon spike. That's where the game Cannon Spike's name comes from. So there's Cannon Spike, the Dreamcast game, which costs around $400 right now, and I've never quite understood why it's called Cannon Spike. I guess I just wasn't up on my Cammy lore. She's got a lot of moves there. We've also got the mysterious samurai Captain Sawada. I want to request, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you all folks can see a little bit better. I have a request for Capcom. Bring back Captain Sawada. He's cool. And he says, I'm going to come out on top. That's not true because you are banished from the Street Fighter games apparently forever after. This new fighter is the one for you if you like grabbing the limelight with offbeat techniques. Daze opponents with your special Sawada attacks and the Ninpo Kamikakushi, I think I got that right, and finish them off with a triple Sawada special kick. The triple Sawada special sounds like a drink, but I drink it. So we've got the glamorous Avenger, Chun-Li Zhang. Ready for payback time, Bison! This is the warrior for those who enjoy the thrills and splendor of acrobatic sky fighting. Leap and bound to confuse your enemy, then attack with the Hyakuretsu kick when you see the chance. Sorry. Sometimes it's not even that hard. It's not even that hard to say. Sometimes you got to reboot. The raging sumo wrestler, Chuck E. Honda. Mess with me and you'll be sorry, he said. These are pretty generic. If overcoming opponents with unstoppable power is your style, Honda is the fighter for you. Build an ironclad defense with the hero. Oh, come on. I don't want to say it again. Hyakuretsu Harite, and send the enemy flying with your Super Zutsuki. Send him flying with your Super Suzuki. So yeah, there you go. I do think this is like, I like the way it's written. Like they're pitching you on all these guys. Like you're at the menu, you're choosing which fighter to buy. If you like punches and kicks, this fighter is the one for you. We've got the legendary champion Balrog. Says, you want some of this? A tough fighter who made his name in boxing and has now expanded his repertoire to include some not strictly ring legal moves. His speedy jabs and his fast and furious dash straight may just get him into the winner's circle. Eternal fighter Ryu Hoshi. Show me someone who's stronger than me, he says. And these are just like things we are always saying to each other in real life. A wanderer with no family and few friends. That's right. Ryu only fights to perfect himself in the true spirit of karate. He is one of the most balanced fighters, strong in both attack and defense. He's the Mario from Mario Kart of Street Fighter. The wandering warrior, Ken Masters. I am power. This... Gonna need to take a sip of water. If y'all can see the page, I'm gonna take a quick break before I read this. This hard boy is a master of kicks. This hard boy is a master of Ken Masters, the hard boy. This hard boy is a master of kicks. High, low, and roundhouse are all part of this highly technical fighter's repertoire, but don't be fooled into thinking that's all the ammo he's got. Wait until he unleashes his fireball punch. Wait until this hard boy unleashes his fireball punch. We've got Carlos Blanka over here, the ultimate biological weapon. Grr, I hunger for blood. Wow. Well, if he's hungry for blood, it sounded like Ken was engorged, so he can feast if need be. When Blanka fights that hard boy Ken, within Blanka's savage heart lies animal cunning acquired from a life spent in the Brazilian rainforest, 59 years to be exact. His feints and backsteps trick his opponent, leaving them open to his sudden and powerful attacks. There you go. Vega, the arrogant warrior. I have the speed of many men. No one is faster than me. Just as like, it's one thing to say you have the strength of many men because that like, is additive, right? You have the strength of many men. 5 men combined with 1 man could theoretically be as strong as 5 men. I don't think that's how speed works. I don't think you just get to like add someone's speed stats to your own. Like if I run an 11-minute mile and then I put another person inside of me who runs a 9-minute mile, like I don't think that makes us both run faster. I don't think it works that way. Maybe Flashback 64 is right though. So counter to what I just said. Flashback 64 says, I think if a bunch of men ran together, they'd go faster. So that might actually be a good point. If they tie like all their legs together, they might go really fast. If you tie enough of them together and you put them in like a line, like you're like on like a track, and you put one in front of the other, in front of the other, in front of the other, and you make it so that the line of people goes all the way from the beginning of the track to the end, and then you time them, the time would be effectively 0 because all of them together would mean that they've already made it to the end, and thusly might make them the fastest group alive. So I think that's just one way to work around the limitations of speed. Human runipede, yeah, that's right. Human centispeed. So I have the speed of many men. We'll take you. Sure thing, Vega, no problem. No one said he was the smartest. No one is faster than me. Vega combines ninjutsu with his skills as a matador. Also known as the Spanish ninja, his speed, grace, and reflexes may win him the championship. Oh, these are all hard men. These are all hard boys. There's no question about that. Super-powered wrestler Zangief. You cannot comprehend the power I wield, Tovarich. Zangief left the Russian Wrestling Federation to seek ever stronger opponents. He is a mountain-like man who can take a lot in order to get close to his opponent. That's important in a relationship. I think sometimes you just sort of have to take a lot in order to show that you're there for the other person. Then he takes hold and doesn't let go. Many such examples of hard boys in this manual. The unstoppable reggae dancer DJ. DJ, you'll feel the Caribbean heat in my attack, mon. DJ has used music to give a unique rhythm to his kickboxing style. His jackknife maximum machine gun uppercut and other attacks are proof of the power of rhythm to move man. And then we've got the invincible Street Fighter Victor Sagat. Sagat, right? This is when you grow up with Street Fighter and everybody has like a different pronunciation for everyone. I am just now not calling him Ryu. Okay, so we've got the true warrior shows no mercy, a dangerous fighter for those who like to act decisively and take the initiative in battle. Use the tremendous concealed power of your kick attacks to stun your opponents, then finish them off with a smile and a tiger uppercut. Getting killed by Wes Studi. What greater honor is there? And then finally, the cold-blooded dictator, General Bison. Kneel before me and beg for mercy. For those of a darker bent, this is the perfect fighter for you. Yeah, these are for people who go to what's that goth store in the mall? They're big Bison guys. M. Bison got all of his clothes from that store. Infamous for his Psycho Crusher attack, Bison's newest technique. I don't remember the Hot Topic. There we go. I was a PacSun guy. Who knows? Infamous for his Psycho Crusher. What about like there were all sorts of stores, right? There was like Hot Topic and Pacific Sun, and like there was like the store like the Wet Seal was another one, right? Like those are like big popular stores. Are those still around anymore? Do those still exist anymore? Malls don't exist. PacSun, you can get like a puka shell necklace and a really expensive T-shirt and do some other stuff. Yeah, Wet Seal, Claire's. Yeah, Claire's is still around. These are important things. So anyway, General Bison loves to go to Hot Topic. For those with a darker bent, this is the perfect fighter for you. Infamous for his Psycho Crusher attack, Bison's newest technique is the Devil Reverse, which is said to have devastating effects. It's like the Havana Syndrome. I don't know what those effects are, but they must be pretty bad. So there you go. You have confidence in your Street Fighter skills to take it to the next level in trial battle mode. That's a cool thing you can do. And then the truth about the finishing blow. I don't know what that means. The truth is that your special techniques can deliver the knockout blow and bring you the championship. They can also leave you open to your opponent's special attack if you miss your chance. Use your special attack only when you know you have your opponent at the right place to deliver the finishing blow on target. Keep in mind, when you are fighting Ken the Hard Boy, make sure to deliver your finishing blow on target. And that is the way to become a Street Fighter champion. Congratulations to everybody. Congratulations to Acclaim for publishing this on behalf of Capcom. A wonderful partnership, if ever there was one. That's very cool of them. Look for Robotica. Heads up, look for Robotica. I want to look for Robotica. This game looks cool as hell. I don't know anything about it. It says here, Robotica, mankind's last hope. So maybe we do need to look for Robotica. Mr. Rogers always said, in times of crisis, look for the helpers. I propose that instead, in 2025, we look for Robotica, mankind's last hope. Rage against the robots, and launch commences in 3, 2, 1. So there you go. Thank you to Acclaim. Thank you to whoever wrote this manual. Thank you to whoever wrote the previous manual. Blanka had to take a quick break. And I want to say this. We have to check in on Blanka right before I go. I want to thank everybody in chat. You're my helper. Aw, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you for chatting. To everybody here, everybody who joined, even if just for a little bit or just watched, I really appreciate it. Y'all are amazing, and we can get through all the bad things together. But first, we have to check in on Blanka. I don't know how to use OBS to do this properly. There's got to be a way to just like bring a picture in that already exists without doing this, but that's okay. We're seeing behind the scenes. It's a work in progress. We're doing it live. Blanka, how are you feeling after doing a bunch of shots today? Oh no, Blanka, I'm so sorry. It's gonna be rough. If you're already feeling this way and you just finished, it's gonna be rough. I know that at 59, those hangovers can last potentially even longer than a day. So go get some cachaça and a little hair of the dog there. Get some vitamin C in you. Drink some water, and you'll be feeling electric just around the corner, effervescent even. Thank you, everybody. Go be good to each other. Thanks for doing this. I'm off for work and care, and I'll go to the Road Blaster song one more time. Why not? Just because I like looking at it. Have a great one, everybody. Bye-bye.